Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul and Democratic California Senator Alex Padilla introduced legislation Wednesday that would give more than 200,000 documented Dreamers a path to citizenship. The bipartisan America's Children Act would provide children of long-term visa holders who have been waiting for years a chance at citizenship before they turn 21. Padilla said in a statement, "We cannot turn our backs on the documented Dreamers, who have spent most of their lives in this country, contributing to their communities and our economy but face continued uncertainty and risk deportation once they turn 21. These young people deserve the opportunity to pursue their American dream and continue building lives in the country they call home." More than 200,000 children and young adults are legal dependents of migrants who hold non-immigrant visas such as H-1B visas and grew up in the United States, but face deportation upon reaching 21, when their dependent status expires. According to Padilla's office, visas, like the H-4 and L-2, are limited to cover spouses and dependents under 21. While these dependents are able to obtain green cards, they often end up stuck in a decades-long backlog. Aside from providing a pathway to citizenship, the legislation would also create an age-out protection that uses the child's age on the date which they filed for a green card rather than using the final action date. The legislation would also provide work authorization for the documented Dreamers, who are over the age of 16 but whose green cards are still pending. Individuals, however, would be required to have been residing in the United States for a total of 10 continuous years, including 4 while under their parents' work visa. Paul said, "These children who have legally called the United States home for many years and even decades, are contributing members in our communities and to our economy. They shouldn't be penalized by the government's failures in addressing green card backlogs." According to Axios, a majority of documented Dreamers are Asian American. Paul has been vocal in recent years that Republicans must show Hispanic voters they are not just the party of deportation. During a 2014 symposium, Paul said it's up to the Republican Party to get beyond deportation to get to the rest of the issues. He said, "I think one way to get the door ajar is say that Mrs. Garcia's nephew is not going to be sent home to Mexico. Because everybody, even those who are here illegally, know somebody who is here who doesn't have the proper visa." Joe Biden on Thursday called for raising taxes on the wealthy and corporations to boost a sagging economy plagued by rising inflation and slow hiring. Biden said the nation's economy has reached an inflection point, where the wealthiest taxpayers and biggest corporations are skirting their responsibility to cover the cost of government safety net programs. Joe Biden said in remarks from the White House, "I believe this is a moment of potentially great change. This is our moment to bring working people back into the economy. This is our moment to prove to the American people that their government works for them, not just for the big corporations and those at the very top." Biden claimed, "The rich and corporations have left middle-class families behind, unable to get ahead because of the rising cost of childcare, prescription drugs and education." As usual, Joe Biden blamed everybody except himself for the country's situation. And the ones paying for the damage cost are the American people. Biden argued Congress needs to raise taxes on the wealthiest Americans and corporations to fund his economic agenda. Joe Biden accused corporations and the very wealthy of not playing by the rules. But he also insisted that he's not out to soak the rich, which is kind of a contradiction anyway. Biden's speech comes one day after the House Ways and Means Committee voted to advance the tax portion of his proposed $3.5 trillion social safety net bill. Biden said to help even the playing field he's ordering the IRS to crack down on wealthy Americans who are exploiting tax loopholes or not paying taxes altogether. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich said Wednesday that Republicans can't afford to blow a once-in-a-generation campaign opportunity to tag all congressional Democrats as big government socialists by supporting President Biden's $3.5 trillion social welfare spending package. Mr. Gingrich said, "To have an issue of this size involving $3.5 trillion in spending and about $3 trillion in taxes, and to have every single Democrat having voted lockstep in favor of it, gives you a weight of argument unlike anything I've seen in recent years." Polling conducted for the Conservative American Majority Project is clear and devastating for Democrats if Republicans define them as big government socialists, he said. Newt Gingrich said, Republicans need to develop a new way of talking about the issue. He said Republicans can't allow some Democrats who voted for the package in August to portray themselves as moderates. He said, every single Democrat in the House and Senate voted for what is literally Bernie Sanders' bill. Bernie Sanders, for Pete's sake, is an open and avowed socialist. It's not slandering him to say that he's a socialist. So you're in a position where you can literally pin every single Democrat running for re-election against that reality. The Conservative Club for Growth announced Monday that it would run TV ads in 10 House districts, including that of Representative Adam Kinzinger, Illinois Republican, focusing on out-of-control spending, inflation, and the $3 trillion tax increase proposed by Biden and the Democrats. The ads will run for 1 week starting Thursday, the first phase of a $2 million campaign opposing the Democrats' plan. The Club for Growth said the ads will run in 9 districts held by persuadable Democrats, and by Kinzinger, citing his numerous occasions of supporting Biden and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, California Democrat, on spending. Club for Growth President David McIntosh said, Washington is out of touch with America. Democrats and even some Republicans need to realize that their constituents will roundly reject the out-of-control spending and $3 trillion increase in taxes. Mr. Gingrich said the $3.5 trillion package is a goldmine of campaign ammunition for Republicans in 2022. He said, the next phase is just having to sit down and work through all of the things in the bill that prove that it's a dramatic expansion of government into your life. You begin to have sort of a cradle-to-grave government power over your life. Mr. Gingrich wrote in a separate commentary at gingrich360.com. Democrats' votes for the package have given Republicans the opportunity of a lifetime to brand the Democratic Party so it becomes a minority for a generation or more. He said, the test is now on the Republican side, and in the conservative movement, to see if they can rise to the opportunity.